Well, Season 2 of Forza Milan is underway. We lost some decent players last season, and we replaced them in the offseason. Moreover, is our roster finally under 100 players in total. Champions League football awaits. Plus, we finished second last year, and the board was really happy with that. And they're looking for a finish this year that's just as good. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully the moves we made in the summer will help us get there. My name's FM20, and this is Forza Milan, Episode 9. And we're going to start right here on the transfers. These are the release players: Alexander Cavagnera, Ricardo Forte, Thiago Diaz, Pepe Reina, retired. If you go to the free transfers, we'll go on the outs. All these are youth players whose contracts I didn't renew. The only one who may be of consequence is Ricardo Tonin, who is... He's a decent forward. He had a really good season last year for our B squad. Let me go over here. 47 goals in 41 appearances, but he's never going to be a Serie A player. Alessandro Sala had potential as a midfielder. He didn't want to stay. I tried re-signing him, and he said no, and then he signed his contract with Genoa, and he left. He also had a good season last year, 14 goals in 33 games, 12 assists, 2 players in the match, mostly in the under-19 squad. My under-19 squad had a really good season last year. All these other players are youth players who were never going to see time on the first team. First in for us, Erkin Eyabil from Mainz. 19 years old, advanced midfielder and midfielder, 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Got him on a free. Mainz, for whatever reason, put him up, and I jumped all over him. He's 19 years old with potential. He's one of those players, as I'm clicking all over the place, who, if he doesn't work out here, I know I can move him on for at least a little bit of money. I mean, he's valued at $3.9 million now, and he's wanted by Hellas Verona on loan. But I'm going to keep him on the under-19 squad and the under-20 squad, get him some development time there. Next in, Levin Kurzawa. With my lack of depth on the defensive back line, I needed some help. Especially, we got Champions League football this year too, so I need a really good B squad, I guess you call it, and players who can rotate in. Now, he doesn't really fit the club philosophy of signing youth players, but at 27 years old, 3-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, he's solid physically, he's solid mentally, he's solid technically, plays a really good complete wingback, fullback on the left side. He's Theo's backup, and he will also get a lot of playing time in the Tim Cup and the Champions League game against lesser quality opponents. If Theo goes down, I have no problems with him stepping in and playing. He's valued at $28.5 million too. We got him on a free. For whatever reason, PSG didn't want to keep him. And then Sergio Santos comes to us on a free transfer. Youth player, central defender, 1.5-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. I brought him in just as depth. He comes to us from Real Madrid. He just was never going to see any playing time there, and he looked good. My scout took a chance on him, and I took my scout looked at him. I took a chance on him. If he doesn't pan out, he doesn't pan out. I'm not really too worried about that. Loan deals. There are quite a lot of loan deals. First off, you guys will notice over here on the left, Real Madrid put Rodrigo out there for loan, and I absolutely snapped him up. Starting out on the left wing for us, as you can see in the one game we've played so far, he's on 1 goal and 1 assist. Can also fit in as a backup striker as well. Limited playing time in Madrid last season. They've got a stacked squad. They put him out there for loan. I absolutely jumped all over him when I saw him available for loan, because I need backup on the. I needed a good midfielder on the left, and someone who had a decent amount of depth. I am paying his salary for the entire duration of the contract. It's €83,000 a month, but there's no other fees associated with it. And frankly, if I can extend him or figure out a way to extend him and then maybe pay a decent amount of money for him, I'll do that. I had this kid in a personal save last year, and he is absolutely brilliant. If he gets a decent amount of playing time, he will totally fulfill that 5-star potential, and he becomes a great inside forward on the left. Next in, I needed some depth on both wings. Manchester United had Daniel James available, and I brought him in because he's really good at both advanced midfielder positions on the wings. 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Decent physicals. The mentals aren't bad. The technicals are nice. The crossing and dribbling and the first touch are okay. The passing's okay as well. The technique and work rate are very good. His pace is absolutely phenomenal. You know, he's 5'6", so he's a little guy. He's speedy. He's had a decent amount of success in the past in terms of he got playing time last year at Man United, so he's got, you know, Premier League experience, which means he should fit in really well here. I've got him on the bench. He'll come in more often than not, and it's nice because I can put him on the bench or start him in either position, and I know he'll do really well. We're paying the duration of his salary for the duration of the loan, which is fine. This is 56,000 euros a week. And we'll go over the finances here in a bit. On the outs, most of these players are youth players. This is one of the things I love about the new loan manager is you go in and you say, these are the players I want to loan out, and your loan manager does the rest. And the one thing I do like is that for a lot of these players, he got money from the team he loaned them out to cover some or all of their salary. As an example, Daniel Maldini. Pescara is playing 1.9K a week for the duration of his loan. You know, it's not his full contract. You know, they're 200 euros short, but I'm okay with that. Now, the one player that did go out that I was kind of waffling on until Leicester made an absolutely monumental deal. Abdoulaye Dabo, they really wanted him, and they said he was going to be a starter, but he's only started for the under-23s. I suspect as they get further into the season, he'll get more playing time. I don't think he was going to see a lot of playing time here this season, and you'll see why in just a minute. But they're paying his salary, whether he sits or plays, and then they're also paying an additional 72,000 euros a month. So we are making a ton of money off of this loan, and I am perfectly happy with that. On the cash and clause transfers, on the ins, and this is absolutely fabulous for me, I love Sandro Tonali. I had him in my Palace save last year. I also had him in a personal save. I think every player in FM at some point in time has someone they fall in love with. And for me, it's Borja Mayoral, who is a striker, plays at Real Madrid, and then tends to get loaned out or leave. And he's what I would call a 1B striker. He's never going to be elite, but he's very, very good. And any time I've had him on my team, he's always scored 15 to 18 goals. He's been absolutely brilliant. I had an online save. I had a personal save in FM18 with Crystal Palace, and he was just absolutely brilliant. The player I fell in love with last year was Sandro Tonali, who I actually found scouting at Brescia, and then I want to say Golden FM put a tweet up as well saying, hey, take a look at this kid. I brought him in, and he absolutely was brilliant in my Palace save. He's a natural defensive midfielder, but he's also a very good midfielder, and he can also train him to be a ball-playing defender at defensive center back. I tried getting him in a transfer window last summer, and I offered upwards of 30 million for him, and Brescia accepted it. And then my board shot me down, and I made the offer more than 3 or 4 times, and the board shot me down, saying he wasn't worth the money. Brescia got relegated from Serie A. They finished in 17th position, I want to say. They got relegated. Tonali had a 10.75 million relegation release clause. I tried getting him, and I inquired about him, and they said, no, we're not selling him. Then they got relegated. I told my GM, hey, get this guy, because I figured if my GM went after him, he would make an offer that the board would be happy with. And instead, he made the flat-out offer for 10.75 million for his release clause. So as a result, Sandro Tonali is wearing a Milan jersey. 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability, solid physically, excellent mentally. I mean, when a 9 at off the ball is your weakest spot, you've got no issues. Technically, he's fabulous. I'm going to play him at midfielder as a deep line playmaker. 15 first touch, 15 passing, 14 technique, 16 work rate, 15 positioning, 15 composure. Tries kill balls often. He's really good with the long range passes. His ability to kick it from this line up into the box where a waiting striker is or a waiting midfielder is just absolutely fabulous. And he's 20 years old. He fits the club philosophy. We got him for 10.7 million. You cannot beat that with a stick. Kevin Bonifazi comes to us from Torino. I needed depth in my defensive back line. He plays defensive center back and a decent defensive right back. I'm going to put him on the bench. He can fit in both positions. 2.5-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, 24 years old. Decent physicals, decent mentals, the technicals that are good where they count. 14 tackling, 14 marking, 14 heading is nice. He's also decent on the long throws as well. I think he's a great pickup, especially we paid €2 million for him. That's a good deal. You can't really go wrong with something like that. And he knows he's here as a fringe player. So if he doesn't get a lot of starts, he's not going to get upset about it. But he will see playing time. Giovanni Di Lorenzo comes to us from Napoli. €12.5 million, going to 16 million based on appearances. Another depth player, defensive right back, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Plays a pure wing back and a midfielder on the right. I absolutely love this guy. Solid physicals, solid mentals, solid technicals. You know, the 13 crossing, 13 first touch, 13 passing, 14 tackling, 14 marking, 16 off the ball, 16 determination. Brings the ball out of defense, cuts inside from both wings. Why Napoli decided to let him go, I am not sure. He's a great player. I've never encountered him before. At least I don't remember the name, but if he's this good in past saves or future saves, he could be another one of those players I always go after. He's a star player in his prime. I'll easily get 2 or 3 years out of him. He's definitely going to see starts. Emmanuel Vignato from Chievo Verona for €2.5 million. This, I think, could be a great pickup. 19 years old, pure advanced midfielder in the center, advanced midfielder on the right, plays a really good winger, 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's got potential, and if he gets starting time and decent coaching, there's no reason he cannot fulfill that potential. He's backing up Suso for the moment, and I'm trying to get him game time in all the Serie A games as best as I can. And I suspect he'll get starts in the Tim Cup and maybe against some of our lesser opponents in the Europa League. Yeah, the Europa League, I wish. In the Champions League. Decent physicals. The mentals, they're not bad. The only thing I'm really kind of worried about is the positioning, but his 17 flair is nice. The 15 determination is great. 14 anticipation, 13 vision is nice. The technicals, they're really good where they count. 12 crossing, 14 dribbling, 13 first touch, 13 passing, 14 technique already, and he's only 19 years old. You know those are only going to get better. Right now they say he's valued at $3.2 million. I think if he gets a decent amount of playing time, 3-4 years down the road, we could be fielding offers for 50, 60, 70 million euros for this kid. And last but not least, Marco Sportiello from Atalanta. We needed a backup keeper, and you'll see why here in a minute. We have Donnarumma. Reina retired. I had a youth prospect that I was more than happy to be the backup first-team keeper, and then another, I want to say Serie B team came in and offered him their starting goalkeeper position, and they offered to pay all his salary as well. And I said, yeah, definitely, because he'll get starting time against quality opponents there and just improve. 2.5-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. Here's a backup. Knows he's a backup. He'll get starts against some of the lesser opponents just to save Donnarumma. I mean, Donnarumma played a lot of games for us last year, but he's a solid keeper. I would have no issues starting him for a few games. Now, if Donnarumma gets injured and he's our full-time keeper, yeah, we may not be finishing top 4. On the outs, we actually made a decent amount of moves. I'm going to sort by fee here. Mitnat Luschietti, Emir Murati, Lenny Borges, Ismet Sinani, Leroy Banda, Antonio McConaughey, Ika Haidara were all under 20 players who just we're never going to see first team playing time here. But, they have some quality to them. Minnesota Luschietti is a pretty versatile attacking midfielder. He was, I want to say, a star current ability here, 2.5-star potential ability. So to a Serie B or Serie C team, he's got some value. Sampdoria signed him. I'm not quite sure why, because I don't think he'll see first team playing time there. I put Antonio Donnarumma out there. AEK snapped him up for 350,000 euros. Gustavo Gomez was a defensive center back who was just never going to see full first team playing time here and wasn't happy being a backup. And frankly, I think he was out on loan most of last season and then came back. Yeah, he was at Palmeiras, and he was solid but not spectacular. Rhymes wanted him. They made an unsolicited offer for him for 2.5 million euros. So I said, sure, no problem. Alan Halvik, who was out on loan at Herenveen, and before that, Liège. He had an okay season last year, but my midfield stocked. And he was just never going to see first-team playing time here, and I'm clicking all over the freaking place. Profile, there we go. Advanced midfielder on the right and center. He could have been a backup here, but, he's 24 years old. He really doesn't fit the team philosophy of signing and developing youth players. He's pretty much was maxed out on his development. I think it was 2-star current ability, 3-star potential. Plus, I've got the Suso on the right and the youngster I want to play, so he just wasn't going to see a lot of playing time. Olympiacos made a €6 million offer for him. Diego Laxalt went to Norwich for €7.75 million. Overall, we lost money on him, but I didn't bring him in. They paid €14 million for him the year before last, and, he plays the left side really well, as I'm clicking all over the place again. Good grief. But he's one of those players who's like 2.5-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. He was never going to be a full-time starter here. Plus the fact that he's older and he's just doesn't really fit the club philosophy of developing younger players. I don't know why Milan brought him in the first place unless they intended for him to be a starter, but we have better options on the left side. So it just made sense to move him on. Yeah, we took a little bit of a loss on him. Well, we took a 50% loss on him, but you know what? We're not paying for him anymore, and, it's another player off the roster. Rade Krunic was a midfielder who just was never going to see a lot of playing time here. He's a good Mazzola and a good advanced playmaker, but he's one of those guys who's 3-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, 26 years old. He's a solid player. I would have kept him as a squad player, but he wanted a first-team contract, and I wasn't going to pay him that much money. He wanted close to €90,000 a week, I want to say, and I was like, no, well, we're going to let you go. I put him out there. Burnley snapped him up for $11.25 million. We brought him in last year. Well, we didn't bring him in last year. The other management team did for $8 million. So we made money there. So that kind of makes up for the money we lost on the Laxalt trade. Samu Castillo, Schalke made an unsolicited offer for him for like 13.5. I got them to 17.75 based on appearances. Decent advanced midfielder on the left for us, 25 years old. I've got better options there now, I think, especially with Rodrigo coming in on loan. And so I had no issues letting him go. And plus, we got a decent amount of money for him. It says he's valued at $31 million now. But frankly, we paid $25 million for him. We let him go for 16.75. Yeah, we lost money on him, but, it helped with the payroll. It helped with the roster size. And then last but not least, Andrea Conti. Guangzhou Evergrande made an unsolicited offer for him, and he jumped all over it to the point where he was like, I'm going to pitch an absolute fit if you don't let me go talk to them. For a 26-year-old 3-star current ability, 3-star potential player, if they want to pay him €165,000 a week, I say let them. Lord knows I'm not. I had no problems letting him go, especially with the players I brought in. All transfer. No, there's no exchange transfers. All transfers. Am I missing anybody? I don't believe so. So we spent 28 million. Wow. So we spent €28.5 million on players in. We sold €66 million. That's good for us. Squad size. There's a way to count these without having to count these. I thought. We're definitely under 116, that's for sure. Matter of fact, we might actually be down to 80 or so. But, as you can see, I've still got players out there who are wanted on loans, or they're offered for loans. The loan guy will take care of that. Alessandro Romani's wanted by Man United. Got a couple players who are wanted, a couple youth players who are wanted. Lorenzo came in to replace Conti. That's why I had no issues letting Conti go. It was a solid offseason transfer window wise. Schedule wise, I didn't set the friendlies this year. The only friendly I had to set was we had to go to Uruguay to play. I have to look at it over here because I have it written down. River Plate Montevideo, because we got a youth player from them. One of the players we got from them. Let me go back. I might be able to remember that real quick. Transfer history. That's all transfers. Is there a future transfer coming in? Yeah. Matthias Arezzo is coming in the January transfer window. He's a striker. He's a young striker, and this kid has got potential. He already grades out at a 79. 1-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, but my scout said he's 4.5, 5 stars. He's can also play advanced midfielder on the right. He's 17 years old. I got him for €1.5 million. €1.5 million, and the other thing was you got to come to Uruguay and play it friendly. So that's the one friendly I had to schedule. As you can see, we still have €38.29 million left on our transfer budget. We have €298,000 left in the wage budget. Scouting wise, I always bump up my scouting budget. I've got $1.32 million left scouting wise, and I've got the payroll budget and the transfer budget are fungible, I should say. We're gonna keep scouting this guy, and you know what, we'll scout that guy. What the heck? So let's go to the schedule here. Yeah, our friendlies could have gone a little bit better. The 2-0 draw, or the 2-0 loss at Juventus was kind of a pain. The game at Novara was frustrating. We should have got more out of it. Torino, I don't know what happened there. That was a mostly rotated side, and then had the A squad go to Uruguay, and they absolutely thrashed Montevideo. And then we had a game against Olympiacos 3 days after this, but it got canceled due to a change in the Olympiacos schedule. I believe they're in the Europa League, and one of their Europa League pre-qualifier games came up. We came back against Bologna, and this was the first game of the Serie A season, and we absolutely thrashed them 4-0. Rodrigo, a goal in the 7th minute. Leo, a brace of goals, 25th and 91st minute. Vignato came on and scored about 7 minutes after he came on, so it was a great debut for the young winger. 87 minutes. We absolutely dominated Bologna. Let me pull up the match stats here. As you can see, Theo Kara on a 6'8 was our lowest player, and I took him off at the 64th minute. Donnarumma on a 6'9. I'm not really worried about that. As you can see, let me go to the match stats here. 21 shots, 9 on target, 7 fouls, 61% possession advantage. We just thoroughly dominated them. Now, today, we're going to play Lazio, and we're also going to find out. Actually, no, we're going to skip Lazio because the Champions League draw is coming up, and we got our first group stage coming up in about 2 weeks. So we're going to find out who we're playing. Let's find out who we're playing, and then we'll go from there, okay? So we'll be back in just a bit with the draw. So this is an example of what I was talking about with the loan manager, Luan Capani, who is a young striker, 1.5-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. He'll never see first-team playing time with the first team here at Milan. But I wanted him to go out and get some experience, because if he gets a little better, I'm reasonably sure I can move him on for money. Last season, he was pretty good. 16 goals in 29 games for us. So he was going out on loan to Pordenone. My loan manager, got an offer for him, or he's a squad player. They're paying 20% of his salary, even if he sits. And I'm perfectly happy with that. Okay, well, as you can see, we got €15.25 million for playing in the group stage, and the draw is today. We've been seated 4th. We finished 2nd in Serie A, but we've been seated 4th? That really is... Okay. So we've got Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain. So we've got Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, Man United, Inter, Man City, and Zenit as the first draws. Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, Shakhtar, Porto, Lyon, Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Liverpool. And I accidentally clicked something where you can't see the teams left to draw unless it's down here. And I wonder if I go back and then forward. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. So we're a 4th seed. That's okay. Ajax, Monaco, Sporting, Celtic, Copenhagen, Fenerbahce, Lokomotiv Moscow, and Schalke. Okay. Köln, Fiorentina, Milan. Ooh, it's a good group for us. Bayern Munich, Shakhtar, Sporting, and Milan. Okay. Galatasaray, Dinamo, Real Sociedad, Club Brugge, and Slavia Praha is going to be in Group H. So, group of death would be probably Group A. Atletico, Juve, and Ajax. I really wouldn't want to be 1 FC Köln. Group B is also no fun time either. You got Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Monaco. So, Fiorentina could be on the outs there. PSG and Porto are going to fight it out in Group D unless Celtic surprises one of those. I don't see that happening. I think Man United's got an easy run through it. There's no real challenges there other than Lyon. Inter's got an easy run through too. Arsenal's a good team, but Inter's better. I mean, they had a freaking invincible season last year, for crying out loud. Man City and Real Madrid, they're going to come out of Group G, I think. I don't know that Lokomotiv Moscow has the firepower to beat either one of them. And it's going to be, I think, either Liverpool or Schalke. Zenit's got a good team, but they're there because of, they were first because of the strength of the Russian Federation soccer league. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but they're 7th in the world right now. So, draw Slavia Praha, and that goes there. So if we check our schedule out, and then we'll continue a day, and that should populate. As you can see, the transfer window is still open. I don't see us making any more moves unless something happens in the next couple of days that we absolutely need to make a move. I don't think we do. Our group isn't too bad. Let me do this real quick. Bayern Munich. Well, the schedule is certainly not doing us any favors. I think what we're going to do is wrap this up. We're going to call this the first episode, just call it a transfer special. And then I'm going to jump ahead quite a few games. And we are going to come back and do... we could do a double live comp, Juventus and Bayern, and see what happens there. So I think that's what we'll do. So we've got a good group. I think we definitely have a chance. It's going to be between... I think Bayern's going to win first place unless we just absolutely dominate the other two teams. I don't know that's going to happen. Shakhtar's got a decent squad, and so does Sporting. So it could be one of those cases where Bayern's going to run away with the group because I believe, they've won the Bundesliga last year. Anyhow, they're going to run away with the group unless they just absolutely stumble, and I don't see that happening. Shakhtar is a decent squad as well, and I don't know that I have them loaded, so let me check out their competitions real quick. No, I want the Liga. Yeah, they're doing really well. Okay. And then Sporting, where did Sporting finish last year? Oh, they won. Okay, well, fabulous. Three first place teams and us. Okay, well, maybe we're going to be on the outside looking in. But you know what? I think going to the Europa League wouldn't be that bad for us either. The board, they want us to get the first knockout round. That could be hard-pressed. Okay, well, we'll do what we can. So, they want us to win silverware at the end of next season. Reach the Tin Cup final, qualify for the Champions League. So, doable. Financially, we're doing okay. That's the development center. I clicked the wrong thing. Financially, we're doing okay, but, a lot of that money is TV money. You don't get a lot of money for winning Serie A. I think we got 4.3 million, and the winners get 4.5, I want to say. But we got almost 100 million in TV revenue, so they make up for it there. We're just never going to be able to compete with the English team. So that said, we're going to go back to the transfer window here. As I have to scroll down here. I do like this graph. Tells you what you spent and what you sold, which is very, very nice. Also, I believe this is kind of supposed to be a breakdown, but I could be wrong there. But that said, if you did like what you've seen and heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. I love your feedback on the transfer window, what you think of it. Did the players I bring in, were they worth it? Did I spend too much for them? Am I going to be able to hold on to them in the long run? I'd love to sign Rodrigo full-time. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make that happen. We'll have to wait and see. My name's FM20. Thank you for watching Forza Milan, Episode 9.